Hello and welcome to Loving Me, Myself, and Life with me, Jody Misiak. Today, I'd like to share how I dropped a huge, ginormous ball, or maybe not huge, but at the time, it felt big and not good, and I was really miserable with myself. So, a few months before my oldest was celebrating their birthday, they knew what they wanted. They wanted a pool party and things like that. So I was really like, yay, okay, we know it's too far away yet. It's like 3 or 4 months away. They had this idea and we were like all on the same page. We're like calling the pool to book this party and it's not available. Maybe there's a different day because it was like, no, I think there was no Saturdays. And then eventually it was like, there was just this back and forthness of going on, phone tag, this and that. And then like I would forget to keep going because I was like, okay, my husband was going to call and then I would forget to follow up because I was in the middle of a big busy month for me and my work because I was getting ready to go on break with my children. And so I was just in this state of crazy. And then about 2.5 weeks before their birthday, they were just about to head off to school. And they asked me when their birthday was going to be because we were like going back and forth on different dates. And I was like, oh, honey, like, I don't even know what day or even what you're going to be doing on your birthday. Like, I was like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, I don't know. And then after they went to school, I crawled back into bed feeling so bad that I dropped the ball. As I laid there feeling sorry for myself, and for disappointing my child, I just allowed myself to feel everything. I was crying. I was feeling so horrible as a parent that I let my other stuff in my life drop the ball in my kid's life. You know, I know it's just a birthday party, but in that moment, it felt pretty bad. So I let myself feel it. Everything. Just had a good cry. And then the beautiful thing happened. I'm a problem solver. This is just who I am. So I kicked into problem solving mode. So once I let it all out, once I had all these emotions of, dropping the ball and I could have done better, I should have done this, and all these shoulda, coulda, wouldas that I couldn't change. Once I let it all go, I began to start coming up with ideas of what to do next. I was looking at other party plans. I'm like, okay, who else could I call to have different parties? What could we do? I'm like, well, worst case, I'm like, we have this beautiful space in our downstairs where I could have people. So I had all these plans. I started coming up with ideas. And then I come downstairs and I'm talking to my husband. He's like, oh, that was taken care of. It was taken care of. So I was having a little cry, feeling sorry for myself for being a horrible mom, for dropping the ball, and then problem solving all these ideas. He finally got connected with the person planning the parties there, and we came up with a very unique, creative solution. We put it on a day on a Friday where no one else holds parties, and we just were able to pay for the room. It wasn't a party package, but we were able to create something that was not existing before that day. So we got really creative because I even remember it was my idea and I told my husband about it. And then I didn't remember or I didn't think that it was possible. It didn't happen yet. So it was okay, I pretty much wrote that off. Because the back and forth was not getting us anywhere. This phone tag and it's oh my goodness, the time is we're not getting anywhere near. We're not getting anywhere, right? So I, asked my husband well, maybe we can, do this, and this, book it on a Friday, just book the room. I had all these ideas too. And then I forgot about it. And then after a good cry and really letting it all go and then coming back okay, well, this is what happened. I got to let it go. and move forward. And I went into problem solving mode. So instead of focusing on the problem, I went into what can I do instead? And that is when all the magic happened. So it was a beautiful experience. As horrified as I felt, I also had to remind myself that I am human, that I'm not just a mom, I'm not just an entrepreneur, I'm not just a coach, I'm not just a wife. I am all things, and I'm me. So I have to take time for me, and I have all these things, right? So I had to take care of my own emotions. I had to make peace with what I did, make peace with my past. Even though it was like very short in the past, I had to make peace with it and let it go. I could have kept crying. I could have kept beating myself up. I could have just like wrote it all off. Or like jumped the gun too and be like, okay, because I actually almost booked a birthday party right from in bed. I was like, oh, I'll just book it now so we don't lose out on it. I was like, no. I got to talk to my kid first, make sure that that's what they want. So I could have jumped into overdrive, but I just went into planning and had all these ideas. But when I let go of all the crap that I was feeling about myself and how I let things happen, or how I didn't make things happen, I was able to allow life to happen as it should. And in fact, the birthday was amazing. The pool was very empty because it was right before winter break. Every single child that they invited made it. Every single one. And the pool was like I said, so empty. We almost had a private pool party. It all worked as it should. Once I got myself out of the way, once I dealt with my own emotions, we are all human. We all make mistakes. It's how we handle them that makes a difference. Could I have done a little differently? Could I handle it slightly better? Heck yes. But I learned a lot, right? So I only lived there for like a couple hours. Not even. I think I had a good cry. And that like felt, the pity party cry probably lasted half an hour to an hour tops before I went to like action go mode. But I felt it. I let myself feel the failure, the letting my kid down, how I could have done better. And then I realized that was not going to help me fix the problem. All those emotions were not going to help me fix the problem. I had to let them go, make peace with it, to move forward with a plan, or at least allow the plan to take shape. There's a lot of times in my life where I've pushed against the current. And when I start to allow life to flow, beautiful things happen. So if you have dropped a ball in your life, or like you just feel like you're just not showing up the way you thought you would, or could, or should, give yourself a hug. Let go of past expectations, past failures. And how do you let them go? You look at them and be like, what did I learn from them? Or what can I learn from them? Because I'm going to tell you something, you can probably learn something from them. Everything that has happened helps us grow and learn so we can really embrace who we are. Everything, as messy, as frustrating as it can be, it's all there to help show us who we are becoming. It reminded me that I am constantly learning. Just because I'm an empowerment coach, just because my kids are getting older doesn't make me this perfect mom, this perfect coach, this perfect person. There is no such thing. I got to show my kids that, yeah, I fail, and then how I handle the failure. They didn't see the whole emotional step and process, but I do share with my kids how I felt, how I moved through it. so they can also learn that failure is okay. In fact, it's how we learn. So dropping that ball, as crappy as it felt as a parent, helped me really embrace other parts of me, like my problem solver and creative. Like I get really creative with problem solving sometimes. And life has a plan for us, even though we don't always follow and allow. Life has a plan. And sometimes we can't see the plan because we're too busy planning our own plan. But life is happening. And when we allow it to flow and happen the way it's meant to, it doesn't feel so challenging and hard. Doesn't mean that you're not going to feel things. It doesn't mean you're not going to fail. It doesn't mean you're not going to fall down and have to get yourself back up. It means that life will flow a little easier when you're tapped in to where you are or where you want to go. And it even comes down to like who you are, right? Like, what do you want and need? What do you want and need right now? Maybe you have too much balls up in the air. I know that that's part of my thing, right? Was, oh my goodness, I have too much going on. December is always a very busy month. As much as I try to keep it open, it always fills up. So it's being more mindful of that. And but it's learning how strong you can be. It also helped my husband and I work together. Now, there's definitely, I'm sure, times where I was like mad at him for not, calling sooner or different things, but we did in the end work together to make it happen. So it's working together as well. So again, if you find yourself that you've dropped the ball, or maybe you're still hanging on to something that you've done in the past where you've failed at something, maybe it's time to look at it and let it go. Because when we hold on to past failures, past thoughts and beliefs that no longer serve us, they really can dictate where our life goes. You're kind of on autopilot without even realizing it. You're letting your past steer you in the direction of your future. Grab the wheel again and be the driver of your life by letting things go that you cannot go back and change. And I know that can be hard because, like I said, I was there and I still have those days. Have a good cry if you need it. Feel your feelings and then figure out what you can learn from it and then let it all go. Thank you so much for listening. I hope this has helped you in some way, and I look forward to talking to you again soon. Bye for now. Have a beautiful day.